My name is Teresa Kutala Firmino. I'm an artist, a painter, and a collagist. I think from a very young age, I was always interested in escapism. But then recently, I think I became more interested in it because of like my birth story or my giving birth story. So I had like a really traumatic experience when I was giving birth. I had preeclampsia, which is high blood pressure during pregnancy. And basically what they explained, or from the research that I did, this is like it's from inherited trauma, basically. My grandmother was married to a Congolese soldier. And then obviously the Civil War broke out. But then she already had like 3 children, 3 sons with this man. I've never met him. And while she was running away, she ended up in the Congo forest with her 3 sons. And then she says that there's a time where they needed to rest. And it was in the middle of the night. And then she laid with her 3 sons, you know, like cuddled next to her. And then she felt like a wind across her face. And then when she said she looked up, because she was lying flat on the ground, when she looked up, she saw this really tall, she doesn't know, she calls them men. She's not really sure what they were. And then she said they were moving across the Congo forest. And she said that they were so tall, she couldn't see their heads, and then she couldn't hear their footsteps. This story relates to the series that I'm working on now called The Owners of the Earth. So what happens is that some people, in order to disassociate from their pain, they create this other world outside of them, which is easier to deal with. But I feel like what is interesting about my community specifically, and I can speak about, if I'm speaking about my community, I'm speaking about African stories as well, is that our fantasies are like beautiful nightmares. And I remember when I was in Portugal, someone asked me, I was trying to explain this to someone, and they were like, you know, do you think maybe the paintings are also your moment when the veil is open? Is it your way to deal with your trauma? Are the paintings like your fantasy? And I'm like, possibly, you know, because in the beginning, I was extracting stories from the community, performing them, and then recreating them in the paintings. But now they've become something completely different. You know, they are very like spontaneous, and I just collect images, and whether they are blue, green, or pink, it just happens in the moment. So maybe it is definitely a way for me to deal with my trauma and for me to heal as well. I can be that woman that had this terrifying birth story, but also be interested in ancient histories and aliens and science fiction. I think that's what The Owners of the Earth is teaching me.